Hello. The purpose of this Take Technical Assistance video is to assist new special education directors in their role in using the Post-Secondary Transition Plan, or PTP, application.
Let's begin with the PTP security diagram. Security is set up so that each role has unique abilities in the application. A district user is the most common role assigned to a special education teacher. In this role, a teacher can create a PTP and lock it. A district super user has the ability to create a PTP, lock and unlock them, and can submit them to DPI. Often PSTs or transition coordinators or special education secretaries will have this role. A director role has all of the same abilities as the super user, and in addition is able to delete PTPs before they are submitted to DPI. They can move PTPs between schools in the district and can complete a WISE ID match for ones that were created without a WISE ID. It is a good idea to know the answers to the following questions. Who in your district is the district security administrator? This is usually your district administrator or superintendent. Sometimes it can be an IT person. Who is the PTP application administrator? If the special education director left and you are new in this role, there might not be anyone assigned to this role in your district. It is recommended that the special education director take on the role of PTP application administrator. This allows you the ability to assign users to the application and delete users who have left the district. Does anyone have director access? Does anyone in the district have district super user access? Are special education teachers listed as district users, or do they have a higher access? Have staff who have left the district been removed from having access to your district's PTPs?
In order to be able to perform the duties of special education director in your district, you will need to be assigned the role of director in the application. It is recommended that you also have the role of application administrator so that you can assign and remove teachers from your district as needed. When you log into the application and click on your name in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, a pop-up will appear that will display your role in the district to which you are assigned. If you do not have the director role, contact your district application administrator to gain director access. Do not create accounts with multiple roles, such as having director and super user access. Often you will log in and then only have the lower access in the application.
A helpful resource is the PTP Guide. This was updated in 2024 and can be found on DPI's Indicator 13 webpage under the heading Training and Technical Assistance. Page 34 gives directions on the administrative roles in the PTP application. This can be helpful to district security administrators who need to assign someone new in the role of PTP application administrator.
Some districts require that teachers lock their completed PTP to indicate that it is finished. The PTP reviewer then reviews PTPs in the Locked Not Submitted report at least monthly so that PTPs are submitted within 30 days of the IEP meeting date. This works great if your staff remembers to create and to lock the PTPs. Other districts have PTP reviewers keep track of their district IEPs and then make sure that they review the PTP when reviewing the IEP paperwork. This ensures that all IEPs for students ages 14 and above have a completed PTP. PTP reviewers then use the In-Process PTP section of the application to find the PTPs that need review. This method appears to work better because you are not relying on your staff to look at the PTP to trigger the review. Some districts make their staff into super users and have them submit their own PTPs. This can be problematic when the PTP is not reviewed and has used an other that does not meet compliance or has errors in the meeting date or if the student attended the IEP. A second set of eyes on the PTP is always a good idea. Also, make sure that the PTP is being included with the IEP when sent to parents. There have been occurrences where the PTP is being forgotten to be included with the IEP, and it is a required component of the IEP.
When reviewing PTPs, the following areas are suggestions to review. Was the student exit page completed correctly? Is the date of the IEP meeting correct? Did the student attend the meeting? Was at least one transition service selected from the drop-down menu for the current school year? Was an annual goal copied over from the IEP? Was at least 1 year of classes identified under course of study? And was other chosen? And if so, is it written for compliance?
There are many reports to become familiar with in the Reports tab of the application. The two most used reports are the PTP status locked submitted and the other text usage report. We will start with those.
To get to the PTPs that you are to review, one report that you will find to be very useful is the PTP status report. To get to this report, go to the Reports tab, hover over to see the drop-down and choose PTP status locked submitted. Once you select this report, you can change the PTP status to locked not submitted, not locked, or submitted. Make sure to change the school year to the current year. If your district has the policy that the teachers lock PTPs once they have them completed, then it will be easy to go to the locked not submitted report, review the PTPs, and then submit them to DPI. The not locked report will tell you which PTPs are not finished, and you can sort them by meeting date to see if any are close to 30 days from the IEP meeting. A useful feature of this report is that there is a column for O question mark, which stands for does the PTP contain other for answers that may need review? If the PTP does contain other, then a red check mark shows up in this column.
Once in the PTP locked not submitted report, click on the button for open and review the PTP. Once reviewed and there are no corrections, the PTP can be submitted. See the blue Submit button next to the Open button. Once a PTP is submitted, it cannot be unsubmitted. Think of the PTP going into a filing cabinet at DPI. The most recent submitted PTP is what is in the file for the student, and this is the PTP that DPI is concerned about, not any previous versions that were submitted for a student. A revision to an IEP would need to be held to make changes to the PTP along with the appropriate I-10A or I-10B form.
To check to see if PTPs were submitted with an other, run the Other Text Usage Report located under the Reports tab. There are multiple ways to check for other, but this is one place that will list them all, but only after the PTP was submitted. You can access the Take Note in the Other report with instructions as to if this PTP needs to be reviewed.
TAG Transition Specialist will review the other report for each of their assigned CISA areas on a monthly basis, usually close to the last day of the month. The other report is reviewed, and each of the PTPs will be marked with either a yes or no if there is a need to review the PTP. The date of the review is added, and then a note as to recommendations to fix. Your district will receive an email from TIG if you have PTPs that used other that might not pass DPI's compliance check in summer. You will be asked to review the other report and read the notes. Once a correction is made and a new PTP is locked and submitted to DPI in the application, then the former PTP is removed from this report.
Here are examples of TIG notes on the Other report page. The note entered will include the date it was reviewed, along with an explanation as to why or why not it needs to be reviewed, along with some guidance on revisions to consider. Special education directors and PTP contacts will be notified of the review. In these examples of the note in the Other report, when unsure is used in the employment or education and training goal, the note will read to conduct further assessment. If other is used in transition services with no other transition service listed for the current school year, the directions in the note will be to add another transition service from the drop-down for the current school year. Often, a broad career cluster is listed, such as business owner or scientist, when is written in for the employment goal. This is considered to be too broad of a field, so the recommendation will be to narrow it down to what kind of business or specific area in science. When the other is deemed acceptable and no is checked in the note, sometimes language will be added that reflects that and show alternatives if it is aligned to a dropdown.
Other is the area that causes the most compliance issues. The option to use other is available for those unique situations in which an option from the drop-downs does not meet the student's needs. Think about your 1% population taking the DLM. Most often, TIG staff find that the other is used even though an appropriate option is available in the drop-downs. Two resources that can be of use to you are the PTP Other Guidance document and the PTP and Students with Complex Needs document. Both can be found on the TIG website under Resources. Please also let your staff know if they feel they need to use other, they can reach out to a TIG technical assistance specialist and they would be happy to talk it through. And remember, when possible, match the goal as close as possible to the drop down and then use the additional information boxes to give more detail in student specific plans.
There are multiple warnings and notes that pop up to let the user know if an other was used in the PTP. The first warning will pop up when the PTP is locked. A note will appear that other was used and tell the location as to what step it was used in. If the user is unsure if the other is acceptable, contact a TIG to talk over before submitting. Once a PTP is submitted, it cannot be reopened and corrected. A new revision will need to be completed and submitted along with the appropriate IEP paperwork.
Another area that will notify other is in the PTP status report locked not submitted. In the O question mark column, a red check mark will signify an other is used in the PTP. Open the PTP and review, paying special attention to the education and training goal, employment goal, and transition services sections.
The third warning will come when the PTP is submitted. A pop-up will appear notifying that other was used and ask you if you want to continue.
There are reports in the Reports tab that are beneficial to your district to review on a regular basis. The Student History Report is an easy way to determine if you have a duplicate PTP. Enter the student's last name and first name and click on Search, and you will see all the PTPs for a student and can then determine if one has already been submitted for a student for a specific IEP meeting date before deleting ones that you deem as duplicates in the Finish in Process section. Duplicate PTPs tend to occur when staff start a PTP but do not enter a meeting date before the application times out. As you can see on the reports list, there are many reports. The Edit Students report can be used to add a student's WISE ID to a PTP if a PTP was created without one. The new meeting required report lists PTPs that have errors such as the student wasn't invited to the IEP or an outside agency was invited but permission to invite wasn't received. This can assist you in correcting errors with the PTP before DPI does their summer compliance review. The Answer Detail Report is a way to review things such as which transition services are being selected for a given school year, or if you want to take all students who are interested in attending a four-year college on a field trip, you could sort your district's PTPs that way.
Here is a list of the areas that we recommend that you or some other staff review before a PTP is submitted to DPI. Did the student attend the IEP? Will the student exit at the end of the year? Was other used? If so, is it compliant? Did the family give permission to invite an outside agency? Was the agency invited?
You do not have a legal IEP until the PTP is complete and attached to the IEP. Check again with your district on practices for this process. You also must provide a paper copy of the PTP to the family. Attach it to the IEP that is mailed home.
Each summer, a PTP tips resources is updated and sent out in August, as well as posted on the TIG website as a resource. This is a valuable go-to resource to share with staff as it covers the most common questions and PTP issues that tend to occur. It is a great place to start when a PTP question comes up, as you may be able to solve the issue on your own. You are welcome to reach out to TIG. However, this may be a quicker and a good resource to share with others.
Here you will find PTP technical assistant videos. These short videos will walk you through many of the common questions that occur within the PTP application. The videos that TIG TA specialists send out are the most often are how to delete a PTP record and the WISE ID match.
If you have any questions about the PTP or the PTP application, please contact your TIG technical assistance specialist.